After years of trying to get his Jungle Book movie out, Andy Serkis has finally released Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle on Netflix. Not on theaters, just on Netflix. A young boy named Mowgli is raised by wolves and has to fight off against a menacing tiger named Shere Khan, as well as his own origins. Thank you guys for stopping by my channel. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Justin Watch Movies and I love to watch movies. And if you guys do too, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below and comment down below with your thoughts on this new Netflix original film, Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle. We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and at the end, I'm going to give you the score for this new Jungle Book movie. I was anticipating this new movie. From the trailers, it looked like a much darker tone of the classic Jungle Book story that we've seen countless times. I always admire when someone takes a different approach on a classic tale like this. We have Andy Serkis, who is directing this movie, and he approaches this movie with a much darker tone, but still handling the aspects of the Jungle Book story that we've loved. There is no musicals, there is no bare necessities in this movie, but it still manages to feel like a Jungle Book movie. One thing I did appreciate about this movie is it manages to have a much darker tone going for it. There are animals being killed. There's a struggle within Mowgli. Does he fit into the jungle or does he fit into the human civilization? I like the approach for this movie. It sets itself apart from Jon Favreau's Jungle Book movie that we got 2.5 years ago. And that's one thing I was worried about, is that we got one just recently. Why did we need another Jungle Book story? And I'm not going to sit here and compare and contrast the two movies together because they're both completely different. But I just can't help but think that 2.5 years ago we got another Jungle Book movie. But this one does manage to set itself apart from that movie while still managing to kind of look like it. It definitely has a much darker tone that I did appreciate. It makes Shere Khan more vicious than what we've seen before, and he was pretty vicious in the Jungle Book movie from a couple years ago. But I like the voice acting in this movie from Benedict Cumberbatch. Andy Serkis definitely brings out the beast within Benedict Cumberbatch. I think he did a great job in here. And another surprise was Cate Blanchett as Kaa. I thought she was terrific in this movie. All-around the voice acting was really great, from Christian Bale as Bagheera, and we had Andy Serkis playing Baloo. And then we had the young boy in here playing Mowgli. I thought did a great job. I loved how he was trying to balance, does he live in the jungle or should he live with humans? He was trying to figure out what to do with his life. I think he fit into these different cultures very well. So there's a lot of things I did appreciate about Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle. The tone is really great, and I did appreciate the voice acting, and the film's great to look at too. But I do think that there are some times where the CGI is a little bit iffy, especially coming from the animals, Baloo especially. I do think that the Jon Favreau movie was much better with its animals and how they looked. Here I could tell, I wanted to say that they were perfect, but there were certain animals where I just looked at them and think, it's a little bit off. It's kind of iffy. But I do think that this still is a beautiful film to look at. They do explore a little bit more than the original Jungle Book movie that we got a couple years ago. They explore more with deeper stories with Mowgli. He's going into the human world and he's venturing off from the jungle, and so there's that balance I did appreciate. There are times where this movie tries to be emotional. There's a scene in the middle part of the movie, especially coming from Baloo and Bagheera. It does try to be emotional, but it doesn't really work because a lot of scenes previously do feel really quick, especially when Baloo is supposed to be teaching Mowgli how to live in the jungle and how to run and not be killed. I don't feel like his training was weighted or heavy, and then they had certain scenes later on that tied into those scenes, and they had to be emotional in regards to the character. I didn't really feel those emotions at all, and it had to do a lot with the pacing and the editing from the previous scenes. And I can't help but feel that the ending was very anticlimactic. I knew what was going to happen. We've seen it before. We know the fate of the characters. And I just felt meh when watching the end of the movie. It wasn't very exciting. It wasn't very climatic. It just kind of ended, and I was like, okay, I've seen that and it's nothing new. Before I give you the score on this new Netflix original film, if you guys feel like you've missed out on some Netflix movies throughout the years, I do have a playlist of Netflix movies that I reviewed throughout the year. I have a Netflix playlist up here that you can find up here. These are all the movies that I reviewed on Netflix, all in one place just for you guys to watch. So overall, I thought Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle was a decent film. The tone is really good, and I do like the voice acting in here, but there are some pacing issues and some editing issues as well, and there are some emotional moments that really do not work for me because of those pacing and editing issues. I just feel like there's a certain scenes that are just missed or too quick, so the emotional scenes don't feel as heavy. I'm going to go ahead and give Mowgli, The Legend of the Jungle a B-. Thank you guys for checking out my review for Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. Make sure to check out this video right over here. This is the latest movie review I've done. This is Mirai, a new anime movie review. Definitely check out this movie review right here. And also my face right here in this little circle. Yeah, right here. Make sure to click that subscribe button to join the channel. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.